Straw Hut Media.
Hi, this is Stephen Root, and I'm on Don't Be Alone with Jake Hogan. I don't understand the title because a small kiss at the end of a session is not such a bad thing.
Don't be alone with Jake Hogan.
Hi there. Welcome to Don't Be Alone with Jake Hogan. I am Jake Hogan, and you are alone with me, and that is a terrible mistake on your part. This is the show where I talk to interesting, famous, funny people about my problems, and today is no exception. We have the marvelous Stephen Root, the great actor who has been graced your TV and big screen hundreds and hundreds of times. Most notably to me as Jimmy James in News Radio, and also in Office Space and Barry and Dodgeball. I watch Dodgeball all the time, and his character in Dodgeball is the one I relate to. Does that say something bad about me? Maybe. But I can't hear you because this is one-sided conversation, so there. If you have something to say to me, you can reach me at dbawjk@gmail.com. That's Don't Be Alone with Jake Hogan @gmail.com. dbawjk@gmail.com. What I really need from you is your comments, your hellos, your suggestions, and please give me questions that I can ask my guests. We have a whole segment based on this. I'm dependent on you. And I'm going to start giving out prizes for the best question. So if you have a really good question, I'm going to give you a prize. I don't know what it is, but it won't be something genetic. Let's put it that way. It won't be part of my genes, but it will be something I can share. I can legally share with you guys. So that's going to be interesting to find out what that is. Tonight's topic. Tonight, I'm assuming you're listening to this in the evening, that you're curled up with a drink, a martini, and you've turned on your podcast, which looks like an old time radio, and you're just by the fire listening to this. Am I wrong? Are you on an exercycle? If so, get off your exercycle and get onto a couch and get a martini. Anyway, today's topic is this: outsider. Mr. Root plays a lot of outsiders in his career. That's actually what he does so well. He brings humanity to those roles. I have spent my life feeling like an outsider. I know that's not unique. We all sort of feel outsider-ish. But most of us have a group of people that we feel like, these are my people. I kind of have that, but mostly I feel still on the outside. I observe life more than I participate in life, and that's problematic to me. It's good for a writer or good for an actor, but it's not good for life. You want to be somebody who's participating, who's in the arena. And I'm not there yet. And maybe we can figure out why, and maybe we can figure out how to change that. And if not how to change that, how to accept that. So that's what we're going to be talking about with the great Stephen Root right after this.
Don't be alone with Jake Hogan.
I want to thank you, first of all, for being here.
Of course. Thank you.
Your kindness. Two things I asked you. One was that thing where we were doing a Democratic, we're trying to sort of do a commercial to not get the country ruined.
Exactly.
You stepped up for that.
It tried to help, but it didn't help. It didn't really help. Yeah.
And this, I mean, we don't know each other that well, and you're so kind to do this.
No, but you're within the realm scope of actually talented people that I know. So I figure you can't be too bad.
Now that's not. I mean, thank you, but you know a lot of very talented people.
We know Dave Foley.
But I mean, I went through the IMDb a little bit, and you've got a few credits.
Couple.
And some of them are with excellent people.
Some of them are.
You got your Coen brothers.
Those are good boys.
Yeah. Holy shit. I mean, heroes, obviously.
They're my heroes.
But also just like every movie and TV show you ever thought of, you've been on in some way, shape, or form.
No, but I've been lucky to work a lot. The funny part about it is, I didn't even do. I never got onto the TV screen until I was 35.
Yeah. And that's, that may be
a lot of people started a lot earlier than that.
But maybe that's great.
Yeah, maybe.
Because like you have, people like to be pegged in a category. So 35 to now is not that different. We show up at 18.
It is in your body.
18 to 35, there's a big difference. Like if you're a wonderkind, then you're 35, you're done. But 35 to whenever,
it's probably
pretty good.
Probably better.
Yeah,
it was all theater all the time.
You had your your Shakespearean theater?
Shakespeare, yes.
That's fantastic. I saw you in Macbeth, and I thought, wow, it must be a great experience for Root to finally do a great Shakespearean thing. But apparently, you've done a shit ton of it.
Yeah, I did a shit ton of it in my mid-20s, so it was really cool to be able to do it on film, especially with the one of the boys. Yeah. With Joel, yeah.
That's fantastic.
It was so fun.
It's great. It was a great movie, too.
It was a great movie. It was shot like a 40s noir movie.
Yes.
All on Paramount.
It looked that way.
And sets, no outdoor sets. Fantastic
it
fun.
Looked gorgeous. That's fantastic. And it was actually very good. I just wasn't allowed to say the name of the movie to most actors because they get freaked out about it.
I go back and forth because I think the reason Joel entitled it The Tragedy of Macbeth, then you could say Macbeth.
Right.
If it was just the M word, then no.
You know why that's a forbidden word, do you? At least I heard
remember the original story, but I don't remember the original story.
This is the story I heard.
Okay.
It's because when traveling companies of actors were in trouble and it was just about to go out of business, they put on Macbeth.
Well, okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
And then they would go out of business. So it was like it was like the last ditch effort to try and get something going.
Yeah. No, it was fun to do because I'd never, of all the ones that I did before that, I'd never done Macbeth. Although the company that I was in had done it the year before I got there as a kabuki, and I thought that was a great idea.
Yeah. Well, every time you sort of add a pastiche onto a Shakespeare thing, it brightens it, makes it a little newer.
Mostly it works.
You know,
it mostly works, which is amazing.
I'm doing an all-fat Jewish version of Titus Andromachus. So,
love it.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Easily costumed.
I first met you many years ago when you were doing a show called News Radio.
I remember that show.
And one of my very best friends, Dave Foley, was on that show. Mm-hmm. And he's not shy about saying that people are jerks. Mm-hmm. And he said, this guy's not a jerk.
Not a jerk.
And so you came highly recommended from Dave as not a jerk.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I hadn't even been that familiar with Kids in the Hall before News Radio because I was still old at that
Shame
point.
on you.
Yeah, I know. I was old.
Yeah.
I was like, that was young people comedy. Yeah. And I was 40, so I was like, oh. And then it was like a revelation to me to see that stuff.
So this show, Don't Be Alone with Jay Kogan, is... First of all, we're all wondering why I have a show. I'm wondering too. And so I'm not sure why I have a show, but had to do something over pandemic and a strike and other kind of stuff. So I sort of fell into this.
Yeah. I think a lot of people did.
Yeah. Wait a second. You're saying other people have podcasts?
Yes.
What?
So many.
Ryan, you did not tell me that other people have podcasts. Producer Ryan's just looking, I don't know. It's crazy.
Who are much more famous than you.
All right. This is terrible. My chances just got much, much slimmer of success here. Fuck.
No.
God damn it.
All good.
All right. Well,
all the writers are listening to you.
Yeah, that's fine.
So that's good.
5 of those people.
Yeah,
that'll give
exactly.
We'll have a sponsor for people who wear like baseball caps and shorts.
That's all you do,
that's
isn't
true.
it?
But what I was going to say is Jimmy James was a rich...
The man's so nice, he named him twice.
Was rich and fabulous, but even on that show, he was kind of an outsider. And this show is about me working out my problems. And one of the problems I have, or just issues in my life, is I feel like an outsider.
I always have.
Always, my whole life.
Yeah,
okay.
Mine too.
So I
feel like you're being looked at every moment of the day.
And we are looking, we're because we're not on the inside, we're observing this life on the other side of the fence in a whole other way too.
Yeah, a step removed. I've always felt that way as well. So, but then I moved as a kid every year and a half, construction brat.
Right.
So that was what was happening.
But I thought you landed in Florida.
I landed in Florida not till high school.
Oh, okay. All right.
I mean, we did a side trip to Fort Lauderdale for a year and a half when I was in 7th grade, maybe.
All right, so permanent outsider.
Permanent outsiders, because you never have close friends, because they're gone in a year.
Right.
I mean, I think the oldest friend that I have is from high school.
So I'm going to make this assumption because I've watched your stuff that you as an actor, all the roles that I've seen you that I love you in have mostly been playing people a little bit outside of the mainstream. If Jimmy James is a rich, Ted Turner style guy, there's not many of those guys.
Right.
And he was a guy who sort of walked in and sort of was the voice of calm a lot of the times, a little bit voice of crazy, but
but also bent is how I describe it.
Bent is right.
And I played a lot of bent characters.
And in Barry, your character's bent.
Yeah,
I mean, in Dodgeball, your character's very much on the outside. In Office Space, literally
even more so.
Sent to the basement on the outside. Through all that, you have brought a humanity to every single one of your characters you've ever played.
I appreciate that. I hope so.
It's 100% true. And it's kind of why you're so great, which is I don't feel you're making fun of any of these people. You are just finding a reality to those people and you're bringing it forth. And I think you have an insight into what it is to be an outsider because you make those people, there aren't jokes to you.
No, they're not. They have to have some grounded reality in them, and that grounded reality is their humanity, I think,
Yeah.
And even if it's deep, deep, deep within them, you've got to. At least I do when I'm doing these guys. Feel I've got to bring out a real humanity in them, or else they're just caricatures.
Have you ever played a character without any pathos at all?
Really? No, I got close with Barry. But he has a lot of humanity in him. That guy. Complete evil, I don't think I've played. I don't know if I'd feel comfortable.
You said that for real life.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
All right.
Sure. So that's your job. This is your life.
Right.
No, I know, but that's exactly right. There's not a straight up, one-sided caricature thing. I mean,
and it might be a good thing to do as an actor.
Yeah.
Because I'm a character actor, and that's what I do. Is I do different stuff, and I've consciously tried to do different stuff. But have I played somebody completely? No, not really.
Or completely on the other side, a perfectly good person, like magically perfect person.
Right.
No, because there's a humanity to what you're doing. So my question to you, as somebody who is, friend or friend adjacent, is when do we get to feel like normalized? When do we get to feel like we're on the inside?
As ourselves?
Yeah.
Or as the actor?
As ourselves. You're a very successful person. You do, you just flew in from New York. You have things going on and other things. Do you feel completely comfortable in yourself? Is that little boy who was
never?
Okay, right.
Do you?
No.
I think as you wrote in your little letter to me, it's like I don't think there's anyone who feels completely normal. I don't think so, unless the intellectual level is maybe a little lower, because then you're not worrying about anything.
I was recently, not to name drop, but I was recently at a party with Adam Sandler.
Yes.
And Adam walks into a room and he
doesn't worry about anything.
He seems really comfortable with himself.
I think that's I would love to be able to do that.
Me too. But I mean, why him and not us? Why can't we just stroll into a place and just go like, we were in the art gallery not long ago watching our friend Toby at a painting exhibit.
Oh, yeah, we saw beautiful stuff. But
he's great. All right.
And he is pretty comfortable with himself.
He's pretty comfortable.
But he has worked hard on himself, as we do.
Right. But
as we grow older.
But even in that environment where I'm with friends and everything, I was like, I'm not that much of an art guy. Part of me is feeling uncomfortable. Like
your deficiencies come up immediately.
Yeah.
I mean, in myself as well.
So when I saw you and Romy, I was like, oh, okay, friendly face, fantastic.
They're okay.
Yeah. So that's good. So
I feel the same way.
And
I think a lot of people do. I know, besides Adam Sandler and maybe some Saturday Night Live people who are very comfortable in their skin. I can't think of anybody who's completely comfortable.
All right. So if we'll never be comfortable in our skin, let's discuss the advantages then of not being comfortable.
Okay.
Is the advantage of not being comfortable, I mean, aside from our work, which,
well, it's very advantageous to my work, because I'm an observer, and it's like, see that, I'm going to use this little part of that guy who's walking over there because that's weird,
right? But you can also do that not from a distance, but in close up.
Sure.
People that's like, okay, I'm having a conversation, but there's part of me that's observing that person.
Absolutely
and
true.
just really taking that person in for later use or
Yes.
or
Yes.
just survival.
Maybe that makes us horrible.
Maybe.
people. I'm using you for
Yeah.
later use, and that's it.
Is it not
Yeah.
true though? And it's also, is it not a survival skill?
Sure. It has. Yeah, it has to be.
Because when you were a kid and you were new in a school,
Yeah.
you have to sort of assess the dangers.
You had
the,
to go up to the board, and you're by yourself
Yeah.
with an audience for the first time
Right.
of kids who want to hate you. I think I still have my worst memory, as I think, is going up to the board, writing something on the board, and have the whole class laugh. And I found out later it was because my ass was wiggling while I was writing with chalk, and it was like, it's the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened, and still is.
Really?
Yeah.
That moment, the wiggling ass moment.
I can
Oh my
still
God.
remember it. Yeah.
I remember a lot of teachers having wiggly asses as they wrote on the chalkboard.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
didn't seem to care so much.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, I get it.
did.
I get it.
Because I was
it-
new kid, always. Because I was always new kid.
And from that point on, we called you Ass Wiggler, which is still, I don't know why that's your license plate
Or
on your
Chalk
car.
Boy. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, like,
Either
it's
one.
strange of you to get that license plate if it really was that traumatic. But okay, I guess that's how you deal with it. Today, if you were writing on a chalkboard and your ass was wiggling and people were laughing.
Today, I would not wiggle my ass because I'm so sensitive about it.
But couldn't you handle it better
Sure.
if people were laughing?
Yeah.
Okay, me
That
too.
would be okay. Because, you grow up and you go like, most people are idiots. So, you
Right.
can be an idiot in front of people. It's okay.
So why are we still uncomfortable?
Don't know. I always will be.
Yeah,
To a much lesser degree, certainly. But yeah, I think so.
it's fascinating
Yeah,
to me.
There are people who are shy and there are people who are not.
Yeah,
I've always been shy. Always been a reader. Always been stand in the corner and watch
Right.
people at a party. Yeah.
I'm not that shy.
Uh-huh.
I'm loud. I think I cover my discomfort
loud,
with the loud part or the jumping. I'm gonna be ridiculous before you make me ridiculous, or some other version of that.
Yeah. I think I do that in my profession as well. Don't mind looking like an idiot.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think, and it's part of, for me, it's part of my weight issue. Is I hide a lot of who I am under nerves and food and and physically separate myself out because I'm heavier than most people. So
I'm thinking of this, although I'm happy to make a physical fool of myself in my business. It's in my personal life. It's really hard. I don't love fast, games where you have to think fast and you have to react fast.
So you're
'cause
not
that's
coming to
me.
charade night.
I'm not coming to charade
Okay,
night because
all right.
I can't process that quickly, and that embarrasses me.
Right.
And it shouldn't because I do all sorts of weird.
You should know that when you stay
Yeah.
home from game night, we all make fun of you. Still.
Well, that's okay because I'm not getting there.
Stephen Root's not smart enough to be here. You know that, right?
I think it's really interesting that's the one thing that really bugs me is that I can't operate really quickly mentally.
Well, don't worry. As you get older, that'll change.
Oh yeah, it's slowing down.
You'll get much sharper.
After 60, it's like
Yeah. Maybe it's not necessary. Maybe that particular skill is not necessary. Less and less.
Well, it can't be because I don't have it,
Right, well,
and I'm still around
You can remember your lines.
most of the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Certainly gets harder as you get older.
Does it?
Oh yeah,
Interesting.
yeah. I pretty much have to start very early on if I have a boatload, and I've always liked to know them backwards just because then I can play within that structure.
Right.
If I know them backwards, then I know where we're going, so
Okay.
then I can play within.
Right.
But that's harder to do as I've gotten older.
Yeah. Well, I'm a terrible actor, so it's hard no matter what I do. I could start a month before and still come out pretty wooden.
Well,
pretty wooden.
yeah.
And wooden and overacting at the same time.
I don't think that's true, but go ahead.
No, you could. If you can imagine somebody who is stiff as a board yet doing too much, that's me. But that's all right.
Now that's
all
Ed
right.
Sullivan.
Yeah.
And now Topo Gigio.
Right.
Yeah.
Ed Sullivan. When I was a kid, I still remember how fantastic the Ed Sullivan Show was.
Oh,
And
the best.
And
And he was as stiff as a board.
yeah.
And he'd been doing it since the 20s, which so like you'd think
Well, he
he'd
was like
loosen up a little.
PR guy or something. I think he was a
Yeah,
PR guy,
yeah.
and then he somehow fell into radio a little bit, but face for radio. But somehow
Boy.
it traveled to here. I mean, that's why I'm doing a podcast, so nobody can see me.
I wish there was Carol Burnett shows. I mean, I enjoyed those so much.
The Carol Burnett show, I grew up, you probably don't know this, but my dad wrote for the Carol Burnett show.
Oh, it's amazing.
And so I would go to the Carol Burnett show and watch it being
Romy
filmed.
would go as well. She was friends with Carol's kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Such a fun night. The television tapings are, traditionally nightmare, boring.
Oh, my God.
These were fantastic. And they were shot, an hour show was shot in like an hour 20. And there's band music playing in between.
Live
Audience,
Yeah.
live audience asking questions, Carol being great, everybody. That was magic.
Sure.
Yeah, there's nothing like that anymore.
Because it's live.
Yeah, maybe
it
Saturday
was-
Night Live a little bit.
But they're frickin' reading off cards now. It's like, give me something that's really live that you've studied and go.
Right. Yeah. So you, in your process of when you get a part, how do you decide where the character is? Obviously it's written in the script, the kind of person that person is, but how do you decide, like, okay, here are the human edge. I, as a writer, know I'm not writing the human edges a lot of the time in the comedy, like the comedy script. I'm not saying all the things that this character is. I'm going to get somebody great like you, and you're going to find more to it than I'm going to bring to it.
I think I've always got a gut when I read. First of all, these days I don't want to work for work. I want to work on really good stuff. So the script is paramount to me.
So you just told us you're insanely wealthy.
No, I didn't.
You just said that. That's what I heard.
I didn't.
That's what I heard.
Nope.
Okay.
What you heard is wrong.
All right.
I have enough money to pay my mortgage and live very comfortably, but it's making money is not the goal.
Okay.
The goal is making something of quality for me at this point in my career.
Okay.
Like everybody else, you have to make a living in the first part of your career, and you do whatever you can do. But at this part, I get to be a little pickier, and so it's all about the script for me.
According to your definition, I'm still in the first part of my career.
That's your problem. No, so that's paramount for me, and I always seem to have a gut when I read a good script, a gut of I would do this with it, and it's almost immediate that I could figure out a character, and then I razor it down from there. But I always have a gut when I read, oh, that's that guy, and go from there.
And do you feel like you can get to any character? In other words,
not necessarily.
Yeah.
There's some that I've gotten. You put on the clothes and you feel more like it.
right.
But you have to have some sort of gut feeling for it first. But to complete it, sometimes it's outside in and not inside out.
So do you go shopping for the clothes, or do you work with the costumer?
No. You work with a costumer and all that stuff.
Right, but I mean, how do you find that outside
Milton
thing?
from Office Space is not Milton without the glasses.
Right.
And a stain.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Right.
'Cause that's that character, and that's outside in.
Right.
But the inside out was what I wanted to do with it, which was a slight lisp and very quiet and whatever.
A movie that I watch, Office Space is one of them. Dodgeball is another movie I constantly watch. Constantly.
Dodgeball was my homage to Rick Moranis.
Wow. Okay.
My homage to Rick Moranis.
Right.
And I told Ben that when I said, I want to do Rick Moranis.
Right.
And he said, okay.
It's great. It's great. It's such a great movie. And it's packed. It's packed with funny, but also a story and also emotion. And also it's like everything that you want is right there.
They fought so hard to end that movie with Vince stepping over the line and just losing. And that's the end of the movie.
Who fought?
The director.
Oh, okay. He's wrong.
Rawson said, no, let's do the opposite of what everybody thinks. Let's have them lose, and then credits.
Terrible. What a bad idea.
Awful idea,
Yeah.
and they shot it.
Yeah.
They shot it that way. and showed it to them, and they went, "No, that's not happening."
Yeah. No, it's.
But I love the idea
Yeah.
that it's like nobody does this. Nobody
But
just has them lose.
That's not a bad ethos to go through a script with and make sure that everything's new.
Yeah.
But we want a catharsis. We want a moment at the end.
As humans, we have to have that pretty much,
So
or else why are we watching
we're
it?
telling a story,
Yeah.
and the story needs to end.
Yeah.
And
But I love the idea.
if it's
that
a tragedy,
they tried to do it.
if it's a tragedy,
Yeah.
and we're supposed to leave feeling sad about life, then great. But if it's not a tragedy,
Yeah.
let's not do that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Foley and I made a movie called The Wrong Guy a while back.
Love that movie.
good
So
movie.
much. Well done.
And I always thought we didn't have enough humanity to it. Like I always thought it was packed with jokes, but we didn't have enough.
A little underneath humanity.
Yes, but
Yeah.
then I watched it with an audience on the Dynasty Typewriter not long ago. And,
really?
And the people were involved in the story. And when Foley gets the girl and gets Jennifer Tilly,
Right.
the audience applauds, and it's like, okay,
Maybe
these suckers,
maybe we didn't.
these
I don't
suckers fell for
know.
it. They fell for it, even though I thought,
I thought that was a great
yeah,
movie.
no, but it's surprising. We made a nod to it, but I guess we actually maybe sort of did it. But not did it. Obviously, didn't do it enough to actually make a movie that's successful.
Yeah.
So there's a line. It's pleasant movie, but it wasn't successful.
It's successful if it came out well. It doesn't matter whether people see it. Really, in the end, because you're doing your craft.
Let's dig down on that. So
Okay.
if you make something great
Uh-huh.
that nobody ever sees, or like 400 people see, but it could have been seen by millions, that's enough?
That's enough because you chose it in the first place because you thought it was good.
Right.
And if you think what you did, it's something that nobody's ever seen, was really well done, then that's all you can do.
So you don't need
For
the
your
validation from audiences to say that was
I don't
great.
need it, but it would be nice. But
Right.
I don't need it because I've chosen to do it.
Right.
And you put 110 into whatever you choose to do.
Right. No, I agree that we do, but not everything's a home run. Like every time.
Right.
You
But
know-
what are you going to? If it's not, then it's not.
I get it.
So what?
But and I'm not saying it's you should regret having done something. I'm just
Okay,
saying
good.
that there's a validation that comes from like doing it. You had it. You
Sure.
saw something, and that became something that other
what
people.
it does is gives you more confidence if it is successful. It gives you more confidence in yourself. If it's not, it's eponymous. It doesn't matter.
I guess to me there's a part of it that says that if other people are saying it's good, it makes it like, okay, it's part of the communication of art. I am saying something and people are receiving it versus I am saying something and it's hitting a brick wall.
Sure.
And so the brick wall part is like, I said it and I think I said it in the best way possible, but
It's a Wonderful Life was a flop.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not a flop though.
Yeah. Right.
So
It found its audience in time.
Yeah.
And I understand. But I do feel like that there's something more than just affirming in audiences liking it. I really feel like I can tell whether I was a good writer, or whether I did it the best way I could have.
well, as an actor, I feel like what I can do is what all I can do, and
Right.
what happens after that is
right.
what
Well,
happens.
you're wrong, and I want you to feel bad about
That's
the stuff you
okay.
do.
I don't mind. But for me, it's affirming because every once in a while somebody will go, I saw you do that thing, and that even sometimes is even better.
Right.
It's like, yeah, you and me saw it, and that's it.
What's the best role you ever had that got the least reaction?
Phew. You didn't write that down in your notes.
No. It's a conversation, Steve. I am in conversation with you, and you say things, and I hear them, and I ask other
All right.
things. You don't have to have an answer. But
Yeah, let me think about it as we
okay.
go on.
I wrote a pilot called Monkey World.
I was in Monkey Shines.
Yes, that's true. But it's a different show. This was about a billionaire who loses everything, and Donald Trump style horrible guy. He loses everything, and all he has left is a really crappy amusement park in Florida called Monkey World. And that's where he has to try and rebuild his life from, and actually start spending time with his wife who he never saw and his kid who he never raised. And it's I wrote it with my partner Wally Wolodarski, and it's one of my favorite things I ever wrote. And it was something that
Right.
we never got made.
Right.
Because it just never got made. And it almost got made, and the Fox wanted it and then wanted me to get Albert Brooks to be in it, and he doesn't want to be in anything. Or it's like, well, I'm not going to be able to get Albert Brooks myself. Do you have a truckload of money? Like, what are you going to do to lure him?
Right.
Anyway, it never got me. So I don't, even though I love it, I'm not sure that it's successful. I love it, but it's a failure in that it never it never blossomed to fruition.
I can understand your point. I don't quite agree with it.
Yeah.
I think if you succeeded in finishing that script, it's successful.
Right.
But yeah.
All right. Well, let's agree to disagree. I am a failure, is what I'm telling you.
No, I've done a lot of
Just say I'm a failure.
Oh, no, you're
Just say, Jay, you're a failure.
You are not a failure. But you do wear baseball caps and you're a writer.
That's true.
Okay.
Right.
So.
But there's a lot of people who do who are actually failures. That may be the signature
Well, there
of failure.
are lots of failures. Yes, absolutely.
It's fine.
And
Well,
fuck them.
Yeah,
whatever.
absolutely.
They're failures.
let me ask you this question. As a guy who has done this for quite a few years, what has become easier now than what you did, I don't know, 20 years ago? Is any part of it easier?
I can't say that anything is easier. Everything is a little harder now. Here's what I miss about being a lesser known actor, is that you can come in, do a bang job, come in, hit the home run, leave.
Yeah.
Now, as an actor with some sort of a reputation, you can't do that. You're coming in with, oh, he's going to be great. So you can't.
So
you can't come in and
you're not going to surprise
right.
everybody.
You're not going to
great.
surprise anybody that if you're not great, and it's like, what happened to him? Instead of just really enjoying the fact that you came out of nowhere,
right?
Did good, left. I do miss that.
Yeah, but I mean, so much better for me on my end. So much better to have you do it and be great, and it's like I expect great, and you're great, and it's fantastic. Oh, exactly. Oh, this part of my life is so much better because Stephen was there.
I'm saying that was easier.
Okay,
that was easier to come in
like more fun,
without expectation
to surprise people with greatness. Okay, but everything else is harder.
Everything else is harder.
Why do you think?
I think just normal aging.
Okay.
What is good about it is that you learn every time you step onto a set. You learn something else.
Right.
And that's the good part of being an older actor. Is it necessarily easier? No, but you have more knowledge. So in that sense, it's easier.
Right.
You have more knowledge about what you're probably going to do quicker.
You probably don't have to audition for things so much.
Not as much.
And so isn't that easier? To not have to audition for things?
Yes.
That's
absolutely true.
That was a horrible part of me being an actor, is auditioning for things.
And auditioning has become a nightmare now.
Yeah, self-tape.
Because my wife still auditions, and you have to become a technician as well as an actor, and that's not necessary. I don't get that.
Yeah. But I mean, if it doesn't look exactly right.
Yeah, it should be okay.
It's okay.
But they get feedback from their managers saying, yeah, the lighting's screw that.
Right.
Did you see me do it?
Right.
That's what should be important in that. And the fact that, they'll look at 30 seconds of something that's 12 pages long and make a decision.
Yeah, that's kind of sucks.
Yeah.
The truth is, though, in those in-person auditions, a lot of those decisions were made in the first 30 seconds anyway.
That's true, but here's the thing that you're missing. You can win a role in a room.
Yep.
And you don't have a room to win a role
100%.
Yeah.
The thing that I miss most, I think I've said it here in the podcast. I don't even know if it got into the last time I said it, but if somebody gives a great audition and then you love them and you go like, okay, now do it this way, just to fuck around. And they do it. It's like, oh.
Yes,
that's the difference.
You don't get that on tape.
I know, and that's what I want. I want somebody who can.
How do we do that? How do you get both of those things without being in the room?
I don't know. I don't think you can. I
don't think so either.
I think that first step it's just a delayed audition then, because then you get back in the room and say, okay, do it again.
Yeah.
Just what you did before. Okay, now let's do this.
Yeah.
And then we'll see if you can do it. And
it's paramount.
Yeah.
You can't hire somebody because they have a million likes. They might not be able to act out of a paper bag. But that's what they're doing now, is hiring people for that.
That's a terrible way to do things. The likes translate to nothing.
Right.
Nothing. And it's crazy.
Correcto mundo.
Yeah, I know. It's I've been on shows where the executives have said, we got this influencer, he's got 80 million viewers.
So?
You got to put him on your show. And it's like, did it once, didn't translate to one more actual viewer. Nobody watched it more.
Can't act.
And now I have
Can't sing.
Less than great actor.
Yeah.
Not horrible, but less than great actor doing something that some other person could have done so much better.
And it nullifies the best actor for the role thing.
Right.
So
also, just like I like to be able to have people who, I don't know, a version of playing. It feels like playing.
Yeah.
And so I want to
Wanna
play a little bit.
Absolutely.
And I want to change
and you
things
want to
up.
see a fresh face.
Yes.
Otherwise, how are you going to get the stars of tomorrow unless you see them do something good in a a less minor role, but good.
The budgets that I work on now are only the stars of tomorrow. I don't get the stars of today. I'm working on the stars of tomorrow, maybe the stars of yesterday, but not the stars of today.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of problems with casting process now.
Yeah, but it's hard, and there are no. There's a problem with the infrastructure, the ecosystem.
Absolutely.
Because there are no stars of tomorrow. Like they're
not given the chance.
Yeah. It's in
the 90s we were given a chance to do a knockout thing on some show, and then you knocked it out and they went, oh, he can do that. Maybe he could do this. But people don't get a chance to do that anymore.
I'm trying to think of the last breakout star. I guess Margot Robbie or something. I'm trying to think of like who is like new and a bankable box office star kind of person. And they're viewing.
People who were doing soaps and working became stars because they worked.
Yeah.
They worked their ass off in soaps. Yeah.
Well, I watch a lot of soaps, so maybe I'm a better actor.
I love that.
But now I have to listen to podcasts. That's really my job, is listen to a lot of podcasts.
Okay.
Self-help crystals, a lot of stuff I'm doing. I was going to ask producer Ryan about, I haven't gotten paid for any of this, right? No. Okay.
No.
So I don't know. It may not be the best business decision I've ever made.
But you enjoy it.
Oh, I love it. I actually do love it because I get to sit down with people like you for just a moment in time that I would never have in my life. And I was just like, this is great. We have not.
Because I would walk away from you at parties, for sure.
No, you wouldn't walk away, but you've already said you're a little insular. And,
I am, absolutely.
And also,
and you're right. I wouldn't, would it be easy to, it's actually easier on camera or on mic to answer these questions than standing in the back of a party, probably.
Right, but we hang
for me.
There was a coffee. We had a coffee. You, me, and Foley had a coffee. We were there for like 3 seconds and had to go. It's like, this is so much better than the 3 seconds. So this is good. That's fine. Let me ask you this: do you help Romy? With her stuff? Does she help you with your stuff?
Yeah. She always helps.
Having a 2-actor family.
Yeah. I want the help less. I don't know why. I really only want the help with cues and stuff.
By the way,
because
just say out loud.
Yes,
your wife is the actress.
My wife is
Romy Rosemont.
Romy Rosemont. You would know her as the mom in Glee. She's brilliant and better serious actor than I am. But yes, I do help her with her.
A little smarter than you.
Absolutely smarter.
So I mean,
Hello.
Yeah.
I don't ask for her help as much as I do, because I'll tape her do an audition, and I usually do a horrible job as a reader, but I've been getting better, a little better.
Why do you think you're bad as a? Why do you think you're a good actor but a bad reader? Why would that be?
Because I try to direct a little bit. I'm bad director.
Right. Okay.
And now I've stopped trying to direct and just say the words as quickly as possible.
Okay.
Which is what most directors want you to do now anyway.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I
mean, I'm a little better at it now.
The worst of those things when you're in casting is the casting agent or whoever's reading with you trying to act it up a storm.
Oh my God.
It's like,
the casting assistant who's going,
well,
really trying to be an actor.
They were there because they wanted to be an actor, and now they have an opportunity.
Yeah, and it's hard sometimes.
Yeah.
To do that, but I'm getting a little better as a reader.
Right.
But yeah, we do help each other.
Do you find it harder or easier to do voices for animation than it is?
It's very freeing. And, it's like doing theater,
Yeah.
because animation has kind of replaced theater for me, because then you can do all sorts of weird things that you would never do on camera, probably.
But I mean, you're not worried. Obviously, when you say your lines, you use your physicality.
Always.
But
I mean, my body is my voice, so I don't. Yeah, I
don't have to
don't.
worry
I don't
about it.
act from here up. Yeah.
But it's almost doesn't matter what's happening here. What matters is what's coming out there.
Coming out. Yeah. And you're bodily using your character stuff. Yeah. And nowadays they shoot that as well and use it in the animation.
Right. The animators look at it
Yeah.
and animate you anyway. Animation to me is a very interesting thing, completely unlike live action, in that how we want the actors to perform, and how fast you talk, and how broad you can be, and all those rules go out the window with animation. You can be bigger, you can be faster, you can be stranger, you can do a lot of things that you
can
can't
overact a little bit in animation, whereas you couldn't on screen. Yeah.
Right. And also, in animation we sort of get it 50 different ways anyway. So,
sure. Absolutely.
And we don't have time, and when it's being filmed, or don't have that
you
kind of
can't
time.
do 40 takes as a film. You could if you wanted to do.
You say you're done with directing, but do you want to direct?
No, never did. That's pretty much an A-type personality, I think, and I don't have that. I very much like being in an ensemble atmosphere, which is why I love doing news radio or Barry or any of those things where you're not the lead, but you're all in the same boat.
Oh, okay. Well, I like to direct. So tell me the hallmarks of the great directors. What are the hallmarks?
Let me give you your gut before you tell me what to do.
Mm-hmm.
Let me get you my gut, and then take that, shave it, and do it, and go, or completely different, or maybe a little bit the same. But let me give you my gut first. And don't tell me to stand there yet. Mm-hmm. Just let me come in and give you what my job is, which is an interpretation of the material.
Okay. And how quickly after that can I come in and monkey
immediately? But let me give you the gut first, then you can do whatever you want. That's your job.
All right. How much does the script or the director consult with you before?
I would hope we have a good discussion about it, but no directing.
Right.
Just discussion about the character, what the director wants to see ultimately at the end of the performance. Not play that, but go towards that.
Does he discuss, or she discuss tone?
Sure.
Like this
absolutely. Tone is everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is I want you to play this like it's a courtroom drama,
Is this a farce?
Right.
Is this real, natural reality? Right. Is it high? Because when you're doing sitcoms, you're doing both. You're doing a theater performance for 200 people and a camera performance for right here.
Right.
So what is it? What are you looking for? Are you looking for a little more, a little less?
Right.
And that to me is a great for actors who are professionals. A little more air, a little less this. So it's pretty much what you should be doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a big fan, as I told you, not such a good actor. I'm a big fan of good actors. Mm-hmm. So it's when I watch people become a character and play a scene in the moment, it's like magic to me. So like it's magic trick. It's like, holy crap, they did this thing. They brought it to life. It's fantastic.
The hardest part is directors who don't know basics about actors. I mean, I think every director should take an acting 1 course.
For sure.
To just understand the process of what we're trying to do.
Writers too, by the way. Mm-hmm. One of the big problems with writing and being in a writer's room is the writers say, well, why didn't they say it the way we thought it in our heads?
Right. I hear it this way. Well, that's nice. That's not what I do. Right. I interpret the words.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Because they don't understand it's a process of somebody else's creativity. You
might find that they are come up with something that you like.
Right. It often, almost always, actually, is better. Like some of the greatest gifts I've ever gotten were things I never wrote that are just in the script, and it's a moment between an actor
that they saw in their head. Right. Oh, it's about this.
It could be between 2 people. It could also just be an actor on the couch with a moment where they're uncomfortable on the couch. Anything that speaks to the moment of the show, and it's on story, and it's great. But it's nothing that we could have written in a
Right.
stage direction, or
Right.
could have written in a thing. Those are amazing to me.
Yeah, I remember doing news radio, and the first 6 shows were Jimmy Burrows. Okay, and within a show, because we were all pros,
Right.
you know, we weren't stars,
Right.
but we were pro actors at that point.
All pros and Andy Dick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Brilliant physical comedian. Andy was.
Right.
But Jimmy would say, Stevie, do that thing that okay, and that's all you needed. Just do that thing. You did the thing.
Right.
Done.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the kind of director I like.
Yeah. I also, one thing great about Jim is that he lets you block the scene kind of as you're
Yes,
going,
as you're
and then
going.
if you want to say it as you're walking out the door, they'll figure a way to shoot it, you know, to let
Right.
you do.
Or if you can't possibly do it,
Right.
then he'll say, you gotta,
Right.
You gotta, yeah.
But
Give me some
watched
camera
him,
time.
I watched the cameras or the sound guys are saying
Yeah.
we can't get the sound.
Oh,
of
I saw Jimmy take camera guys by
Yeah.
the back of their shirt and just
Right.
go,
Yeah, that
Yeah.
happens all the time.
Uh-huh.
He loves doing that.
yeah.
Like chess pieces. Yeah, no, it's
As Hanks would say, bits and pieces, bits and pieces.
This is another thing that maybe you love or don't. Do you go to dailies?
I would try never to.
Right.
But I think it's really helpful for a lot of actors that do. It's not my jam, but I think you can learn a lot by going to dailies, but it also takes away a lot. So I've stayed away from dailies mostly.
It's a funny thing in dailies when somebody is saying a speech or a line and we have got like 5 takes of their close up, and then, you know, we're just enamored with every moment of their close up. But then
Oh my God.
that's not the movie.
No.
The movie is going to be them talking and then cutting away to something else and then cutting back and forth. But it's, you get fooled in the moment that this is it. This is what we're watching, and it's hard not to be fooled in that moment.
I thought one of the greatest things I ever saw was I did one movie with Clint Eastwood as director. Actually did the close-ups first for each actor, because then they knew exactly where they were going to be, and then we did the wide. And so everybody went, we're exactly where they would be for the close-up, and then you do the wide. You didn't even have to worry about the wide until the end. I thought that was great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm told that he gives no direction at all.
But he doesn't.
Yeah.
Well, he gave me one direction, and it was like, do more of that thing. You know, like Jimmy
Right.
would do.
Uh-huh.
Do more of that. Okay.
Okay.
The end. All right,
Yeah.
I'll do. That's the last I heard about it.
It's fascinating to me also that that's a lot of people, actors rave about, is directors who don't talk to Woody Allen. People who don't talk to you at all and just say, I have nothing to say to you. Just do the scene.
Yeah.
That
And that can be horrendous.
yeah, that sounds horrible
it's
to
like,
me.
It's like, yeah, then I don't know what you want. You're not directing if you do that.
Right. Clooney's a good director, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. He's actors as directors are mostly fantastic. Bill Hader is a great director, an actor director, and can short speak you.
If you're a fan of movies or a fan of anything.
As he is.
Yes, he's a very big fan of movies. And not a bad actor yourself. And enjoying yourself as you're making this stuff, that seems to be the perfect recipe.
It is.
Just
I
like
think so.
have a vision in your head, you've cast it well, you trust your people, and you sort of go.
You just go and have
Right.
some sense of what you
The
want.
script better be good, though. The script better be in the shape.
That's the thing. That's paramount for
Yeah.
me now. Yeah. Do you get to throw away the script if you want to? Absolutely. And Bill would do that often.
Right.
But you have to know what you want going in and then go, no, that's not what I want. So I want this. Yeah.
So when you say throw away the script, that means you're improvising and they're improvising?
Sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
That's
I remember one scene we completely improvised that didn't work in a car. And he said, we're going to throw that out. We're going to do it outside a bathroom.
okay.
Well, and what would you say when you come out? Because we're going to get to this part of the
Right.
scene. Didn't happen often that we did a whole scene of improv, but we would do little bits.
That's great that everybody was comfortable enough to do it.
Yeah, and that scared me because I didn't come up through improv.
Right.
So I got more comfortable with it as the seasons went on in Barry because we did it.
Yeah. That ability is
you got to think fast, and that's not my thing.
it's important in writing for sure.
Yeah.
It's important in writing. I think it's great in acting.
But it's the basis of acting is reacting, and so that's what improv is.
Yeah, the people who do it great are reacting and listening and adding information and sort of like, bringing more value to the scene and more life to the scene as we go forward.
Yeah.
All right. Well, back to the last word about being an outsider. This is why you're here.
Okay.
And you've made me love all these characters that you played through your craft, through you. You're humanizing it. There's lots of actors who might have played some of the parts you played in Oh Brother, Where Art Thou or Barry, that I might have really disliked that character. And I think there's a real value you bring to that. So
well, thanks. I think that's the humanity part of being a character actor. Yeah.
So how can you say we're stuck being an outsiders. So for the rest of our lives, I have to be on this side of the wall. How do I make that okay? How's okay?
I think there is not a solution to that because I think that's your basic DNA is you're an outsider. You're one of the outsiders. I'm one, you are one, and many people are one. And
we have a moment? Can we have a moment?
That's going to change in your DNA until
when you're amongst your brother actors, do you feel bonded? Do you feel like, is there a group of people?
For this much time.
Yeah.
Within, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. But is that going to change in your DNA? Nope.
Okay.
I don't think so.
Do you feel bonded with me after this this conversation?
Certainly. Yeah.
So do you feel like
we can wear each other's clothes now? It's going to be great.
All right. So I'm not an outsider. At least I have you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that's lovely.
No, you know what I mean, though. I think we'll always kind of feel like that, but we've gotten much better at dealing with it.
I hope that's true. I think I'm okay. I'm okay.
Yeah. I'm all right. You're okay.
I don't sweat at night worrying about it.
No.
But I do wonder if there'll ever come a time when I just feel like
completely relaxed. I'm waiting for that time, and I don't think it's going to happen.
All right. I buy that, but we'll see. Maybe I'll.
I hope I'm wrong.
We'll surprise ourselves.
Be great. When I'm drooling in my little rascal.
Right.
Maybe then.
Okay.
Maybe.
You can afford a rascal right now.
I can't afford a rascal right now.
If you really wanted one, we could get you one. They're not as fun as you think.
Yeah, they're harder.
They're harder to get around, unload. Like street driving on the rascal is not so great either.
Romy's dad never got it, kind of. Never really wanted to get it.
Right.
Didn't never get it.
Yeah, I get it. Yeah. It's tough. It's tough getting old.
Yeah.
Here's a section of our show that we like to call Listener Mail.
Now it's time for Listener Mail.
The listeners of the podcast. By the way, it's mostly listeners. I lost 60 pounds to do this podcast. I had no idea people didn't see it. They just listened.
No, you're up here.
Terrible.
So.
I know.
What are you going to do?
This is from Max Prost. Do you know Max Prost, the Simpsons writer?
Yes.
Okay, so Max Prost wrote in. He's a former Simpsons writer, excuse me. He says former
There's
Simpsons.
a lot of them.
Yes, that's right. I'm one of them. Here's something I'd like to hear you ask a guest. How conflicted do you feel about having your work enjoyed by millions of people, knowing that it's helping make billions for some evil studio boss? I know at The Simpsons, we were wondering if our brilliant and enlightening comedy might counteract the Murdoch family's destruction of American democracy. Is there some cost-benefit analysis you do, or is it all just rationalizing?
It's all just rationalizing because even though they're evil empire, they've given you a job and you are sustaining your life because of that job. So it's all rationalizing. Right. But yet, would I not have I thought about not working for someone that I really, really disagree with? I've thought about it, but I don't know if I've actually, other than the drug companies, because I won't do a drug commercial, but other than that, I don't.
Right. I think we are, when we do our work for big media companies, and especially Rupert Murdoch, we are perpetrating evil.
Oh, yeah.
It's absolutely
Fox
100%.
News is evil.
Right.
And
Fox
has ruined the country.
Is part of
absolutely
that 20th Century Fox no longer. And it's not part of Disney. Simpsons is not part of Disney, which was also a different kind of empire. maybe some bad stuff there. But what can you do? I mean, like, we make things that cost millions upon millions of dollars to make.
Yeah.
It's not like a mom and pop operation.
Yeah.
So we're stuck with sort of this weird
We are stuck.
oligarchy.
It would be nice if all the major corporations had some sort of head that had an idea of what we do, but we seem to be just widgets.
Yeah.
And that's the normal thing now.
I mean, goes more towards just American business in general, that there used to be, it seems like there was a time when companies cared about being good citizens and having some sort of say about making the world a better place, making their workers at least happy.
That's what America should be about. And was.
Right.
Even though it did it imperfectly, it was still, you're trying to go on the upswing.
Now it's really just quarter to quarter profits.
It's just greed is good.
And that's unsustainable. I'm shocked that we're still in that 1980s mindset.
Well, yeah. I blame it all on Michael Douglas.
But really, that was 40 years ago. The country should ebb and flow. Things should change. So maybe there's good citizenship coming.
Wouldn't that be nice?
It would be nice. I think.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope common courtcy comes back. Hasn't.
Right. We'll see what happens. It's the moorings of our society that used to exist sort of fell apart.
Yeah, and that's scary. That's really scary, because that leaves you on a ship that's going. But
I just want to say that even if the progressive liberal people who I have always associated with get destroyed, I'm down to go with the MAGA people. I'm with you guys 100%. Whatever you want, I want. Just saying that, just to to make sure.
Okay, I can't do that.
I got my bases covered.
I can't say it.
I got to have my bases covered, Steve.
I understand.
I got a kid.
Yeah.
It's a thing.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to lose probably a quarter of my viewers because I said Fox News is evil empire, but it is.
Not people who watch this. They're not going to be turning on a liberal Jewish guy and think, I want to see what he has to say.
Yeah, I think it's unfortunate that we're labeled liberal. I would rather be labeled as good for the country.
But that's what I see.
Good for human beings.
Right. I see liberalism as something about caring about general society.
Exactly. So do I.
And helping other people.
I think other people define it differently.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would rather pay money to make sure there's not people starving on the street in front of me.
Right.
Than just say, well, pick yourself up by your bootstraps, young man, and just step over the body.
Go over to McDonald's and get a job.
And
I don't care if you don't have any place to live.
Right. And I understand people think that government's stupid and spends money poorly and there's corruption and waste, and I think that's true. Exactly. But that's the bargain I'm making. I'm saying, okay, well, I'd rather have
living here,
err on the side of all those problems, but making sure people aren't really starving and without any medical care or any of that kind of stuff. So anyway, that's what.
But you're not a Canuck like Dave.
Oh no.
Okay.
I was born right here in good old America.
There you go.
I was born in New York, but I'm from California.
Okay.
Basically.
All right. Yeah. Very cool.
So it's all good. All right. Well, now we have a moment of joy.
A moment of joy.
What's something that just makes you happy? Not the one thing, but what's something that makes you happy?
Maybe playing golf with my son.
Interesting.
Makes me so happy because I'm a terrible golfer. Always have been.
Right.
My dad was a great golfer, a club champion.
Right.
And then when I tried to play with him in my 20s, he destroyed it by, you can't do this. Right. So I started playing it in my late 30s, early 40s. And even though I was bad, I really enjoyed it.
Right.
And the fact that I didn't pound that into my kid.
Right.
Say, I'm going to go do this. And at some point he said, I want to try that.
Right.
And let them make that decision.
Right.
And then have it come to fruition, and you're out at Whitsett or a 9-hole course, and he hits a beautiful chip onto the green, and you go, and that makes me happy.
Well, that's interesting because I know a lot of golfers who love to golf, but also it makes them miserable.
Yes, and I'm not one of those.
Yeah.
I'm out there for the walk, the camaraderie, and the beautiful fresh air.
All right. I've played golf twice in my life. So I'm a terrible golfer. It seems fun. It seems fun, but it also seems hard, and it seems like something that you really have to work at a lot to get good
and
at.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't work at
So-
it. If I'd worked at it a little bit, I'd be so much better.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
I don't want to either. I mean, that's the thing. I would love to be asked to go play golf
I'm
from people.
tired. I'm very tired.
I would
don't
go.
know.
I would go for the walk. I would go for the thing. But
Yeah.
people are annoyed with me because if I'm going to hit a ball, I'm going to hit it 8 times to get to the hole. I'm not going to hit it the 4 times that people do. And it's also going to go sideways and strange ways. And it's like playing with
so
someone.
I end up playing mostly with older character actors who don't care.
But with me, it would be like some kind of Make-A-Wish thing. Where you're just like, we'll let him play. Just let him play.
Well, you could see the joy in Tiger and his kid when he's playing in these,
Right.
pro-am things with him. It's just his face is for his
I
kid.
get that joy when I listen to my son play music.
Yeah,
or
exactly.
Listen,
And my son plays
Right.
music as
Yeah.
well. He's a drummer. So I get great joy out of that, seeing him work in that.
son used to be a good golfer too. He doesn't do it much anymore. But so I understand the feeling. But having that activity you guys can do together is magical.
Huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I'm still trying to figure out what that is with my kid. I guess it's we listen to music together or watch movies
You're going to have
together.
to learn to play an instrument.
Yeah. Who are the character actors you golf with?
We have kind of a game, Thursday game at that little 9-hole under the observatory, Roosevelt. Okay, Dermot Mulroney,
Right.
Because we've known Dermot forever. Dermot, when he was married to Catherine,
Right.
Sam McMurray. I can't think of anybody else offhand,
Okay,
but
all right.
there's many.
Richard
There's
Kind
many.
play?
Richard Kind. I would love to play with Richard.
Yes, right.
He
plays golf.
just so that I can see him put his hand in his mouth every
Yes,
once in a
he
while.
does it.
He's able to do it.
He's able to do it. He wouldn't do it on this podcast. I asked him to do it
Unbelievable.
on this podcast. He said he wouldn't do it on the podcast, but I've seen
Wayne
him do
Knight
it.
comes out with us.
Yeah, very good.
Plays,
Yeah.
various people.
Sam McMurray, I love Sam McMurray.
Yeah.
I've known him. He was my very first show.
Best storyteller ever.
Yeah. I wish he was here instead of you, honestly. He
I
was
do.
his storytelling so
It's
much better than yours.
It is.
I don't
and
know.
He remembers so many people.
Yeah. I don't have that ability. Do you remember people when you see them?
Oh my God, I'm so bad.
Me too.
Oh my God.
That's why we're outsiders.
Oh.
We can't say hello to someone.
Yeah. Plus, you go on a set. There's 150 people who know your name.
Right.
And it's really difficult.
Right. Well, you're not
know
expected
theirs.
to know everybody's name.
Well, kind of. If it's a long shoot, yeah, you are, and it's difficult for me.
As a producer or a director, I absolutely remember everybody.
No, the camera crew at least.
Yeah, no, I remember everybody's name because it's sort of like I want to be everybody on the team.
Sure, it's a team. It's a village effort. Absolutely.
All right. Well, I think now we've established why people
That we're
think
outsiders. Because we have no memories.
Yeah, exactly. Our brains aren't good.
You're who? We worked on what?
Bad brains.
I didn't even remember that movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Mr. Root, thank you for being here. This is a fabulous time. You have more than exceeded. When you said you wanted to come in and surprise people at being great at something, well, here I am.
Well,
Color me
thank you.
surprised.
Thank you, Jay. That
You were
was
great.
very, very fun.